guys, because, okay, let me not get ahead of myself. Welcome, my name is Miliswa Mukotedi. I think I actually don't say that in most videos. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been here before, thank you so much for joining me again. I don't take it for granted that you clicked onto this video. And yeah, can I go ahead now? I think, as you can see by the title of this video, this has been one of the critical lessons that the Lord had to give me. And I'll share a story with you. Immediately after the wilderness, the Lord brought us into our promised land, and that's a long story that I'd love to get into. However, as He brought us into the promised land, there were certain spaces or certain things that it was difficult for me to enter into, if I can, for lack of a better word. And He would give me an instruction, and something inside of me would literally revolt and not truly want to. Either when I do it feeling all sorts, or I just had a resistance of something that was holding me back. And obviously I had to have a meeting with the Lord, and I'm like, what's happening? And He says, Miliswa, your mindset in the wilderness has to be shattered for you to be able to walk into the promised land, because you cannot walk into the promised land with the same mindset that you had in the wilderness. Oh my word, I went all in for that. I studied everything that had to do with mindset. I researched in terms of how is the mindset formed and paradigms and I think this is the place where for the first time I got to understand or got my answer to the frustration I had. And this is my frustration. I said to the Lord, in Africa, we are the people who are more believers than anywhere in the world. But we are the people most stricken by poverty. Why is that? Why is it that you are not translating? Why is it my people are not able to translate into the prosperity that you're talking about, into the prosperity that you are promising? There are promises in the word that promises us things, but we are not experientially living them. And He said to me, Miliswa, the mind is the most powerful entity in humanity. That is why Romans 12 is so critical and is so key, because He says you must offer up your bodies as a living sacrifice, but you must renew your mind. I'm now paraphrasing it, and I wonder if I can get I'm paraphrasing it, and I wonder if I can get the actual interpretation. You must, with the renewal of the mind. Just hold on, I want to get my Bible. I don't want to butcher it. So Romans 12, it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world. I mean, if we can pause there, that is exactly what the past videos have been about, in terms of when we do business, we can't do business the way that the world does business. We cannot conform to the way of the world. But this is what we need to do. We need to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Now, transformation, salvation, speaking in tongues, baptism, all of that is instant. However, sanctification is a long process. Mind transformation, mind renewal is a long process. So I don't believe that the Church of Africa, if I can call it that, is being taught about the renewing of the mind and why it's so critical. That is why most of us are stuck where we're stuck. It's because our mindset is not allowing us to elevate to the levels that God has for us. And for me, he was very clear. He said, Melissa, the reason why most of my people are not experiencing the promises of God is because their minds are not renewed. There is no way you can possess the promised land with your carnal mind. Many people are trying to do that. The reason why so many of us are frustrated with God right now, or not even frustrated with God, we are not seeing the promises of God come alive in our lives, is precisely because we want to obtain them or possess them with a carnal mind. And he wouldn't have that. That's why he says, walk in the spirit and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Renew your mind. Everything has to, for us to be able to possess the billions that we want, for us to possess the international mantles that we have declared upon our lives, we cannot possess those with the same mindset that I had when I was still in grad school. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna, yes, you can declare until the cows come home. But if your mind is still at a level where you believe so little about God, you utilize the processes of the world, you utilize the machinery of the world, and then you want to slap God on top of it and say, God bless this. He won't. You've got to be, I was thinking about this just the other day, how we are so astute or so learned in terms of the world system, in terms of this whole new thing about self-care. We know exactly what is required or what qualifies as self-care. We know what it means to get a house on a bond. We know that process. Have we ever stopped to wonder in the kingdom, how do we get our houses? Because this is what God said. He said, we will live in houses we did not build. Why aren't we experiencing that? Why is it that we go and get bonds and then we slap God and say he blessed us? Maybe he did. Who knows? But can we have testimonies about God providing supernaturally for us to be able to live in these houses that he talks about? And children of God, I want to tell you, there is a realm that exists. There are people that are living this thing. You must always understand, and this is my conviction, that there is somebody in a level higher than you, and there's somebody a level lower than you at any given point, even in spiritual things. So I cannot think and say, no, this is it for me. This is how I do life. I pay things through credit. I use what. That's a lower level of living. There is another realm where you get things given to you. There's another realm where you pay cash for everything. And if you want that realm, and guess what? It's available to you. But you've got to want it, right? Because there is absolutely no way for you to be able to get it without the Lord walking with you. Because for me, then it would be, because if it was like that, everyone who's a believer should just get houses they did not build, vineyards they didn't work in. We should be just getting those things. But it tells me, this is Isaiah. Isaiah says, come to me, all those that don't have money, and buy. Let that sink in. Like, what are you going to do with that? Why aren't we experiencing that? Why are we so educated in how the world works and so bankrupt in how the Lord operates? It tells me that to the level that you are willing to apply yourself in any of these realms, that's how you're going to experience. That's the level you're going to experience the promises of God in your life. And mindset is the engine that shifts and moves those things. Because I always say this. It's not a problem for God to give me R1 million yesterday. But will I be able to manage that R1 million? That's one. Will that R1 million have me ready and prepared? Will that R1 million, do I have the capacity to house it? What will I do with it? But if I walk with the Lord, with the transformation of my mind, like with the renewal of my mind, and He is able to shed things through, shed things off and elevate me to another level, then I'm able to apprehend those things that He has promised. And I think for me, this has been such a intimacy grower, if there's anything like that, because I am constantly coming back to Him for everything, because I'm like, I want your promises. I want the things that the word has promised me. And I am ready to put in the work. I have to renew my mind. And the way He renews my mind, I mean, that will be another video altogether. But what He has done is that He has stretched me beyond what I thought was capable. Because He says exposure is critical. You can never want something more if you have never seen it. He's got to expose me to certain areas. But for me to get the exposure that He promises, I've got to be willing to do the work. I've got to be willing to be uncomfortable. To be comfortable with being uncomfortable, guys, because that's the only way that you elevate into the next level. You can't be thinking the way you thought 10 years ago if you want the bigger things He has for you in 5 years' time. So doing the mind game, I mean, literally, even if you don't even look in the kingdom alone, if you look in the world, if you look for the rich people, the way that they get their wealth and maintain their wealth, they've got mindset coaches. They've got coaches for days, because they understand that everything rises and falls here. We are limited by our thinking. We are limited by our beliefs. We are limited. I mean, I think I need to really do a whole series on this whole mindset thing. But I believe that it's one of the key turners for us to be able to experience kingdom businesses. Anyway, thank you so much. I've come to the end of my video. But I'm so interested and interested to find out, what has God done for you in your mind? What are the things that you are sharing? Because literally, this is the people that know me know, this is my A. I'm bringing the A game. What you think I understood and thought yesterday is not what I think and understand today, because I'm leveling up in my head, because that's the only way I believe I'll be able to possess the things that He has promised me. And I hope that's your hunger as well. I hope that's what you want. And yeah, we're coming to the end of the series, and I hope that really it has made you think, and it has made you go back to God and ask Him for more, and ask Him for what is yours, and to actually just be hungry to become an excellent entrepreneur, different from the world. Daniel was in the world, but the way he operated was totally different. Can we learn how the kingdom operates? Because there are principles that are in the kingdom that you need to learn. I know we've got MBAs. I know that we are execs and we are heads of what. But do you know the kingdom principles? Do you know how to get what is due to you in the kingdom? Or are you using the world's way and just barely making it as a believer? Oh Lord, I'm hustling, bless my hustle. No, that's not what He says. And if you knew His word, you would